You've been told to let go and let God. But what if letting go is an active choice you make every single day? What if the peace you long for isn't found by passively waiting for circumstances to change, but by intentionally cultivating a quiet strength within you, a strength that allows you to walk through life's chaos with an unshakable calm? We live in a world that constantly bombards us with noise, demands, and opinions, a world that seems designed to pull us off balance. You might find yourself exhausted, reacting impulsively to every slight, every piece of news, every unexpected challenge. Perhaps you're a dedicated professional, a loving parent, or a faithful servant in your community. Yet beneath the surface, you feel a constant hum of anxiety, a prickle of irritation, or a deep weariness from feeling perpetually on edge. This isn't the abundant life God promised, is it? This feeling of being tossed about by every emotional wave, every critical comment, every minor setback, it robs us of our joy and our spirit. But there is a path to a deeper, more profound peace, one that isn't dependent on perfect circumstances or the absence of problems. It's a peace that resides within you, accessible not by chance, but by conscious choice and spiritual discipline. Today we're going to uncover how to claim that peace, how to become the anchor in your own storm, and how to protect your spirit from the relentless demands of the world. So many of us find ourselves caught in a relentless cycle. Something happens, we react, often impulsively, and then we spend precious energy regretting our words, stewing in our feelings, or dwelling on what we wish we had done differently. This isn't just draining, it's a spiritual leak. Think about a ship with a small crack in its hull. Over time, even a tiny leak can sink it. Our emotional reactivity works the same way, slowly but surely draining our peace and our purpose. We become like cities with broken down walls, vulnerable to every attack, every stray remark, every minor inconvenience. The truth is, many of us have become accustomed to being led by our emotions rather than leading them. We mistake feeling strongly for needing to react immediately. But what if we could create a sacred space between the trigger and our response? What if, instead of being swept away by the current, we could intentionally choose our direction, guided by a deeper sense of calm and wisdom? This isn't about suppressing feelings. It's about mastering them, understanding their messages without letting them dictate your every move. It's about recognizing that you are not merely a collection of impulses, but a child of God, endowed with the capacity for self-control and discerning thought. It's about building an inner fortress, not of stone, but of spirit-led discipline. Are you ready to stop the leaks and reclaim your peace? If this message resonates with your heart, I invite you to join our growing family here. Consider subscribing to this channel and share your thoughts in the comments below. Your journey matters, and we're here to walk it with you. One of the biggest obstacles to inner peace is the compulsion to overreact, to feel that every slight, every rude comment, every frustrating situation demands an immediate, often emotional response. I remember a woman named Maria, a dedicated nurse in her late 40s. She was always the first to volunteer, the last to leave, but she carried a palpable tension. One day, a younger colleague made a dismissive remark about Maria's method of charting patients. Maria felt a familiar surge of anger, her face flushed, and her mind immediately began crafting a sharp retort. In the past, she would have unleashed it, leading to an awkward, strained atmosphere. But this time, something shifted. She remembered a quiet moment of prayer that morning, a whisper about guarding her inner peace. Instead of reacting, she took a deep breath, paused, and simply said, "Thank you for your input." The colleague was visibly surprised. Maria walked away, not needing to explain, not needing to prove her worth. The principle here is strategic silence. Proverbs 17:28 reminds us, "Even fools are thought wise if they keep silent, and discerning if they hold their tongues." Sometimes the most powerful response is no response at all. It's not about being weak or avoiding confrontation. It's about choosing your battles, protecting your energy, and refusing to give power to negativity. It's about understanding that not every situation or opinion deserves your immediate emotional investment or a verbal response. When you choose silence, you choose control, and you prevent others from manipulating your peace. Another significant hurdle we face is taking things personally, allowing the negativity or thoughtlessness of others to penetrate our inner sanctuary. It's a subtle thief of joy, isn't it? You might receive a curt email from a supervisor, or a friend might seem distant, and instantly your mind races, conjuring a narrative of blame or inadequacy. You think, what did I do wrong? Are they upset with me? You carry that weight, allowing their perceived mood to dictate your own. Here's a surprising revelation. Most of the time, it's not about you. That curt email might have been written by someone under immense pressure, dealing with a personal crisis you know nothing about. That distant friend might be struggling with their own anxieties or simply had a bad night's sleep. The negativity others project often reflects their own internal struggles, their own unhealed wounds, their own battles. It's a reflection of their inner world, not a judgment on yours. This isn't an excuse for poor behavior, but it's a profound truth that can set you free. Think of the Apostle Paul, who faced immense criticism and persecution, yet maintained his spiritual strength. He understood that his identity and worth were rooted in Christ, not in the fluctuating opinions of others. When you truly grasp this, you build a mental and spiritual resilience. You learn to observe without absorbing. You can offer compassion for their struggles without letting their issues become your burdens. The practical application is to cultivate a healthy detachment. Before you take something personally, pause and ask yourself, is this truly about me, or is this a reflection of something bigger in their life? This simple question can be a powerful shield for your peace. At the heart of this journey from reactivity to peace lies a profound spiritual turning point. The realization that God's peace isn't a passive gift that descends upon us without effort, but an active, cultivated state of being that requires our participation. We often pray for peace, yet we continue to engage in patterns of thought and reaction that contradict it. It's like praying for a bountiful harvest while refusing to tend the soil. The Bible speaks of a peace that surpasses all understanding, a peace that guards our hearts and minds in Christ Jesus. Philippians 4:7. This isn't a peace that comes from the absence of trouble. It's a peace that stands firm within the trouble. It's a supernatural calm, but it's activated by our intentional choices. Consider Proverbs 25:28. A person without self-control is like a city with broken down walls. This isn't just about avoiding sin. It's about protecting your soul, your spiritual well-being. When we lack self-mastery over our reactions, our inner walls crumble, leaving us vulnerable to every gust of anxiety, every dart of irritation. The transformation happens when we shift from merely wishing for peace to actively choosing it, moment by moment, breath by breath. It's a decision to lead your emotions, rather than being led by them, to respond thoughtfully instead of impulsively. This is where spiritual discipline intersects with emotional intelligence, creating a powerful synergy that brings forth true inner freedom, not just fleeting calm. This new perspective allows us to see life's challenges not as roadblocks to our peace, but as opportunities to strengthen our inner anchor. Imagine a seasoned sailor, Captain Thomas, who navigated treacherous waters for decades. He didn't avoid storms. He learned how to steer through them, how to drop his anchor strategically, how to trust his instruments, even when the waves were towering. His peace wasn't found in calm seas, but in his unwavering ability to manage the chaos. Similarly, our peace isn't found in a life free of problems, but in our capacity to remain steady and faithful even when the world around us is in turmoil. This transformed mindset has ripple effects across every area of your life. Think of David, a project manager who used to dread team meetings because he'd get flustered by unexpected questions or critical feedback. He'd spend hours replaying conversations, feeling defensive and drained. After embracing the principles of self-mastery, he started pausing before responding, recognizing that a critical comment might be a plea for clarity, not an attack. He began to listen more, speak less, and respond with thoughtful questions rather than immediate justifications. The change was remarkable. His team noticed a newfound composure. His relationships improved, and he found a quiet confidence he never knew he possessed. This isn't just about feeling better. It's about living more effectively, more faithfully, and more purposefully. It's about becoming a beacon of calm in a chaotic world, not by avoiding the chaos, but by learning to navigate it with grace and spiritual strength. So, how do we begin to cultivate this unwavering peace in our daily lives? It starts with a few practical steps, repeated consistently until they become second nature. First, practice the pause. When you feel that familiar surge of emotion, anger, frustration, defensiveness, don't react immediately. Take a deep breath. Count to 3 or even 5. This simple act creates that crucial space between stimulus and response. In that space, you can choose. Second, identify your triggers. What situations, specific people, or types of comments consistently pull you off balance? Once you recognize them, you can prepare. If you know a particular email thread often escalates, decide beforehand that you will read it, walk away for 5 minutes, and then respond thoughtfully. Third, embrace strategic silence, not just in arguments, but in everyday interactions. Not every opinion requires your response. Not every criticism needs your rebuttal. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is to simply listen, or to say nothing at all, allowing your inner peace to be your loudest statement. Fourth, focus solely on what is controllable. You cannot control traffic, the news cycle, or other people's opinions, but you can control your mindset, your actions, and your attitude today. This renewed vision is not about becoming emotionless. It's about becoming emotionally intelligent and spiritually disciplined. It's about living with an inner compass that always points to true north, no matter how turbulent the seas. This journey of cultivating an unshakable soul is not a destination you arrive at overnight. It is a lifelong practice, a daily commitment to tending the garden of your inner landscape. Imagine your soul as a beautiful garden. Just as a gardener carefully weeds out what doesn't belong, the thorns of reactivity, the bitter roots of taking things personally, and nurtures what does, the blossoming quiet strength, the fragrant peace of intentional living, so too must we actively cultivate our inner world. This isn't a passive process. It's an active partnership with God. He provides the seeds of grace and wisdom, but we must do the tending. The vision of your future self, living with this profound inner peace, is not a distant dream. It is a tangible reality, waiting for you to claim it, one intentional choice at a time. Imagine the freedom of not being held captive by every passing annoyance, the joy of responding to challenges with clarity rather than chaos. The deep satisfaction of knowing your peace is rooted in something far greater than any external circumstance. This is the abundant life. This is the freedom that comes from mastering yourself, not the world. What if, beginning today, you chose to be the anchor in your own storm? What if you chose to respond with wisdom, rather than react with impulse? This journey is yours to embrace. If this message has stirred something deep within your spirit, I invite you to share your own story of finding peace amidst struggle in the comments below. Your experiences can be a powerful light for others. And if you'd like to see more messages that help you cultivate a stronger, more peaceful spiritual life, please consider joining our community. We are here to grow together, to encourage one another, and to walk this path of faith with unwavering strength.